The Zenthri war fleet descended upon the mining colony of Kepler 442b. Like a plague of metal locusts, Commander Nancy Reeves watched from the command center as the crimson ships blotted out the stars, their weapons charging with an ominous hum that vibrated through the station's hull. "Shields at 40%, Lieutenant Parker Chen reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "We've lost sections 7 through 12. Life support is failing in the eastern quadrant." Nancy's jaw tightened. The mining colony housed 12,000 soul scientists, engineers, families. They had 48 hours before the Zenthri would finish what they'd started. The greatest military force in 3 galaxies didn't negotiate. They took what they wanted. And what they wanted was the rare element novarium that flowed through Kepler's crust, like liquid starlight. "How long until reinforcements arrive?" Nancy asked, though she already knew the answer. 72 hours, ma'am," Parker said quietly. "Assuming they haven't been intercepted." The math was simple and brutal. They wouldn't last that long. Nancy had fought the Zenthri before, during the Outer Rim campaigns. She'd seen their efficiency, their ruthlessness. They were 7 feet of chitinous armor and cold calculation, evolved on a heavy gravity world where only the strongest survived. They had conquered 47 systems in the last decade alone. "There's one option," Parker said, his voice barely above a whisper. The other officers in the command center turned to look at him. "We could send the call." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what he meant, though no one wanted to say it aloud. "You can't be serious," said Chief Engineer Morrison, her face pale. "Do you know what you're suggesting?" Nancy did know. Every sapient species in the galaxy knew about them. The ones who came from the death world called Earth, the humans, they're mercenaries. Nancy said slowly. "Unpredictable, violent, they're effective," Parker countered. "When the Krillian horde attacked Sigma Station, a single human ship turned the tide. 300 warriors against 10,000 Krillians. And how many survived?" Morrison asked. "All of them," Parker said. "All 300 humans. The Krillians weren't so lucky." Nancy had heard the stories. Everyone had. Humans came from a world that actively tried to kill them, gravity that crushed bones, predators that hunted in packs, diseases that evolved as fast as their medicine. They had dragged themselves to the stars through sheer stubbornness, and they'd brought their death world instincts with them. Other species fought for territory or resources. Humans fought for ideas, for each other. They had a word that didn't translate properly into any other language: spite. The willingness to suffer just to make an enemy suffer more. The galaxy had learned to fear them. "They'll want payment," Nancy said. "We don't have the credits." Actually, Parker pulled up a financial display. "We do. The Novarium reserves. If we offer them 20% of the processed element, that's enough to buy a response team." Nancy looked out at the Zenthri fleet. 48 hours, 12,000 lives. "Send the call," she said. The human ship arrived in 6 hours. It wasn't the sleek warship Nancy had expected. The Defiant Spirit looked like it had been assembled from spare parts and held together with determination. Scorch marks decorated its hull, and one of its engines sputtered like it might give out at any moment. "Kepler 442b. This is Captain Rodriguez of the Defiant Spirit." A voice crackled over the comm. "We got your distress call. 40 Zenthri cruisers, you said." "Affirmative," Nancy responded. "Can you help us?" There was a pause, then laughter. Actual laughter. "Ma'am, we came all this way. Be rude to turn back now. How many humans do you think we need?" Nancy exchanged glances with Parker. "How many do you have?" 73, including the cook. "That work for you?" Morrison looked like she might faint. 73? Against 40 warships? "Actually," Captain Rodriguez said cheerfully, "that sounds about right. Give us 2 hours to prep. We'll handle the rest." Nancy watched from the observation deck as the human soldiers emerged from their ship. They didn't look like the galaxy's most feared warriors. They came in different sizes and colors, some barely reaching 6 feet, others towering closer to 7. Their armor was mismatched, clearly customized by each individual. But it was their eyes that gave Nancy pause. Every human she saw had that same look of predator's focus mixed with something that looked almost like joy. Lieutenant Parker stood beside her. "They're excited," he said, sounding disturbed. "They're actually excited about this. One of the humans approached a woman with dark hair pulled back in a tight braid, 3 scars running across her left cheek. Commander Reeves, Captain Sarah Rodriguez. Pleasure to meet you. Nancy shook her hand, noting the casual strength in the grip. Captain, your plan? Rodriguez grinned. Simple. We're going to board their flagship and convince them to leave. Convince them. Well, Rodriguez's grin widened, more like strongly encourage. Humans are very persuasive when we want to be. Before Nancy could respond, the Zenthri sent a transmission. The chittering, clicking language came through the translator as cold and precise. Your reinforcements have arrived. We count 73 soldiers. Surrender now, or we will eliminate them first, then resume destroying your colony. Rodriguez took the calm from Nancy's hand. Zenthri Fleet, this is Captain Sarah Rodriguez, representing humanity. You have 10 minutes to withdraw from this system. After that, we will consider you hostile, and I will be very disappointed. The Zenthri commander's laughter was like rocks grinding together. 73 primitives from a death world dare threaten us? We will make examples of you. Rodriguez's smile never wavered. 9 minutes now. I'd use them wisely. The humans didn't wait for the Zenthri to make the first move. Their boarding pods launched like bullets, too fast and erratic for the Zenthri targeting systems to track. Nancy watched in awe as the humans punched through the enemy shields using nothing but speed and audacity. They're using atmospheric insertion pods, Morrison gasped. Those things are meant for dropping through planetary atmospheres, not ship-to-ship combat. Parker pulled up tactical feeds from the Zenthri ships, hacked by the human tech specialists. What Nancy saw defied belief that the humans moved like nothing she'd ever seen. They fought in the cramped carters of the Zenthri ships with a fluid grace, using the confined spaces to their advantage. Where Zenthri warriors expected direct confrontation, humans flowed around them, striking from unexpected angles. But it wasn't just their combat prowess, it was their coordination. They fought like they shared one mind, each human knowing exactly where the others would be, what they would do. The Zenthri, for all their military precision, couldn't adapt fast enough on the flagship. Captain Rodriguez led her team directly to the command center. The feed showed her standing before the Zenthri commander, covered in purple blood that Nancy knew wasn't human. Your move, Rodriguez said simply. The Zenthri commander, surrounded by the bodies of his elite guard, looked at the small human female covered in the blood of his best warriors. For the first time in recorded history, a Zenthri fleet commander did something unprecedented. He retreated. The human casualties numbered exactly 0. The Zenthri lost 3 ships and retreated beyond the system's edge, broadcasting a warning to their fleet. The Death Worlders are here. Avoid engagement. Nancy found Captain Rodriguez in the station's medical bay, getting a gash on her arm sealed. How? Nancy asked simply. Rodriguez looked up, her eyes still carrying that predator's gleam. How do we do it? Commander, we come from a world where everything wants to kill us. Our own planet tried to make us extinct a dozen different ways. We learned to be stubborn. We learned that giving up isn't an option. We learned that when you're the underdog, you fight dirty, you fight smart, and you never, ever stop. She stood, testing her newly sealed arm. The galaxy thinks we're crazy. Maybe we are, but we're the kind of crazy that drags victory out of defeat, because we're too stupid or too stubborn to know when we're beaten. Nancy watched as the humans prepared to depart, their ship looking no better than when it arrived, but somehow more impressive now. Thank you, Nancy said. You saved 12,000 lives. Rodriguez smiled. That's what we do, Commander. The galaxy might fear us, but they're starting to learn something important. She paused at the airlock. Humans don't fight for conquest or glory. We fight for the people who can't fight for themselves. That's what makes us dangerous. As the defiant spirit pulled away from Kepler-4 for to be, Nancy understood why humanity was feared. Not because they were the strongest or the most advanced, but because they simply refused to lose. And in a galaxy of logical, calculating species, that stubborn, irrational defiance was the most terrifying weapon of all. The end.